Hello, I'm Sergeant Brian Binks. I've been an officer with the Fontana Police Department for 15 years, and I'm currently a sergeant assigned to our patrol division. Prior to working for the Fontana Police Department, what made me want to become a police officer is I grew up in the city of Fontana. I was born and raised here. I've had family members who have worked for the Fontana Police Department. So I grew up around the department. As a kid, I went to the Police Olympics. I went to the Fontana Police Department football games when they played other departments. So I've been around the department. I always knew when I was a kid that I wanted to be a police officer. I had a unique experience growing up in Fontana because my grandparents and my family ran a group home for at-risk boys. So it was known as the boys' home. I grew up in that boys' home. So I've been around people who have gotten in trouble before my whole life. Those guys were like brothers to me. And so I knew I didn't want to take that path that they took. And I think that helped lead me into a career in law enforcement. The assignments that I've worked in during my career, I've had a lot of assignments. I've been lucky to have a lot of different assignments. I started out in the patrol division as a patrol officer. I worked for 3 years as a gang officer in our gang unit, left our gang unit and started the Fontana Leadership Intervention Program. That's one of my biggest highlights of my career. After I left the Fontana Leadership Intervention Program, I was promoted to the rank of corporal and became a detective. I worked sex crimes and crimes against children for 2 years and then robbery homicide for a year. I promoted out of that to the rank of sergeant, worked as a patrol sergeant for a year, and then worked the rapid response team and the fugitive apprehension team as a supervisor, and now I recently just came back to patrol as a sergeant. My biggest motivation as an officer, as simple as it may sound, is just I think all human beings have that in them where it feels good to help other people, feel like you're giving back. As a kid growing up in this community, it was instilled in me with my family, taught me to be a part of the community, give back, be a part of something bigger than yourself. I've always liked to be a part of a team, and working here in law enforcement, I feel like I've fulfilled that on a daily basis. Being able to help little kids is always a positive, and so that's what motivates me to keep coming to work every day. So probably the low light or the darkest moment of my career would have to be when I worked as a detective working crimes against children. We had a homicide of a small child who was murdered by his parents. I was responsible for going to the autopsy with some other detectives, watching the autopsy on that little boy. At the same time, I had a son of my own who was the same as that little boy. So seeing that was probably the toughest moment of my career. What got me through that is just the people I work with, you know, my family, being able to talk about things when I go home at the end of the night, having family in law enforcement that I can talk to about these things, and just having friends here is what gets me through those times. So I've had many highlights throughout my career. I would say getting selected to be on our SWAT team was probably one of the biggest highlights of my career. In 2007, our gang unit was awarded the Officer of the Year award for the work that we did in the community. But in 2010, I received the Fontana Police Department's Employee of the Year award for the work I did with the Fontana Leadership Intervention Program. I would say creating that program has been by far the highlight of my career. Watching those kids in the FLIP program graduate the program, some of those kids graduating the FLIP program was the first time that anybody in their family had ever graduated anything. Watching their families show up, the sense of pride that the kids had in themselves, and just seeing them understand that the hard work that they did paid off and there were positive results for that has been by far the highlight of my career so far. So I want to thank you for listening to my story today. More importantly, I want to thank you for allowing me and my fellow officers to serve you on a daily basis. I'm proud to be from Fontana, and I'm even more proud to serve the community of Fontana. Once again, my name is Sergeant Brian Binks with the Fontana Police Department, and this is why I wear the badge.